Mtutuzeli Nyoka is here and shares the behind-the-scenes, the experience from that, Dr. Nyoka. I remember vividly sitting through that inquiry with you. The last line in that package said, all you want to do is, are you vindicated? Let me ask it that way. Have you been vindicated?
Well, the truth was, this has got nothing to do with me as an individual. It was about the integrity of sport. It was about the truth. And at some point in your life, you got to stand up for it. You search for the truth, you find it, and you defend it as much as you can.
Well, I read the book, Deliberate Concealment, by Dr. Nyoka. It took me, I think it was probably the quickest book I read because I wanted to get to the end of it because I was, well, I wouldn't say I was deeply invested in the story because I'd covered it. There's a lot that you share in there, but most surprisingly, this incident obviously touched you because you spend a lot of time with family and more family and family, because this is what I think came out for me the most. The family that was invested, both yourselves and the Majola family, that played an interesting role in the writing of this book. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we shared our formative years with Gerald. We were children together. I always say that. We played cricket. In summer, we played rugby together. In our home, we had this backyard Wanderers where we played all our schoolboy games. So our lives are inextricably bound with one another, the two of us, and also our families. I mean, this was a stain in that relationship that goes back over 50 years. But that's not the most important thing, Talis. Our country is more important than relationships. I think this is the problem we have in this country, that people are prepared to look the other way, to defend somebody because he's your homeboy, he speaks the same language as you, he's from your own province, etc., etc. And what happens as a result? This is what we have in this country. We have corruption of biblical proportions. If you talk about those biblical plagues, this is what we have in terms of corruption. The biblical plagues affected the highest in society to the lowest in society, and this is what corruption has done to our country. The lowest and the highest, the future is affected. So we can't hide behind relationships, Tabiso, and say, we shared family, we were in exile together, we speak the same language. You're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're betraying the country and desecrating this important history that, to me, our country is the most important thing.
How's your book been received, Dr. Nyoka? I mean,
I can't tell you, but you know, from the little incidents, I walk into the gym, I walk, you know, strangers coming to me, emails, you know, Facebook, etc. I can't really tell you in exact numbers, but the little feedback I've had has been flattering. There's a 12-year-old girl who read it and wrote a beautiful email to me. Now, if children, and that's the future, can tap into this book and read and learn some lessons, maybe I will have made some small contribution in saying some lessons by the future leaders of our country are learned in terms of dealing with this problem. It goes beyond cricket, as I say. It goes beyond sport. People outside sport are finding deep resonance with the experience I had. And the other thing about the book that I show is my own faults and my own weaknesses. I think it's very important for me to emphasize that. Change in this country is not going to come because some superhero comes and brings it about. It's ordinary people like me, like everybody else.
That's interesting you said, because you didn't pull any punches. You know, you even yourself, you're very critical of yourself. I mean, it was quite eye-opening, actually.
Of course, there were many serious errors of judgment that I made. I mean, as chairman of the board, I was very partial to Gerald. I was not chairman of the board. I was chairman of the faction. And that's a big mistake. And look at the result. I could have spared the game the damage. I could have spared the country the damage if I had exercised my right as the chairman of the institution, as a president of the institution, instead of, as you are saying, we shared childhood. Those things don't have any role to play when it comes to issues that can either destroy or build our country.
I look at the other, I'd say, big, fallout South African cricket has had. It was the Hansi Cronje saga, and then there's this saga we have now with Gerald Majola, etc., etc. Does it speak of a bigger problem within cricket worldwide? Because again, with Gerald Majola, the implication was with the IPL. I mean, again, with Hansi Cronje, it was also had to do with the BCCI, and is it a bigger problem with cricket?
Well, I mean, I think what I wrote about in the book is the tip of a very big iceberg of corruption in cricket, in sport, in general. There were many layers. I think I was just dealing with the front. There were other forces behind, fighting me. I was aware of them even though I didn't know who they are. But they were very powerful individuals, powerful institutions, making sure that I am removed because I was a stumbling block, together with those who supported me, between them and control of this very wealthy, very rich. There's a lot of money in cricket, and a lot of people are interested in it.
Are you still in contact with Bob Majola since
we haven't really met since I walked out of the Carol Tip. I was walking in and he was walking out, the Carol Tip hearings. That was 3 years ago. We greeted then. We haven't really met at all, and we haven't really spoken. Perhaps think the wounds are still too fresh for both of us. But as I say in the book, I would much as I would never regret what I did, I never would, ever. But I still hope, against hope, that our friendship, as individuals and as a family, can be rekindled. As human beings, I think I still have that wish.
Let's get the book on camera so that everyone at home can see it, Dr. Nyoka. The book is called Deliberate Concealment. Where does one buy it? Where can we get hold of it?
Exclusive Books or Amazon.com.
Not that expensive?
Well, 250 rands depends on which side of the city you come from.
But I mean, I read it, and believe you me, I think a lot of people will agree with me. It's not that expensive. I'd definitely buy it to get a closer eye view, bird's eye view of what you went through, as well as what cricket, South Africa, as you said, building a better nation. Dr. Nyoka, thank you very much for speaking to us right on
My pleasure. Thank you
SABC
so much,
News Channel 404, as well as Sports on Prime. That's Dr. Nyoka, who wrote that book, Deliberate Concealment, speaking about, well, unfortunately, that incident that happened in cricket, South Africa, with Gerald Majola. Anyway,